everyone, this is Jan, and I wanted to come on and talk to you about paint consistency, and I am going to do a little demo with Americana Deco Art paint. And it's really important that you understand there's different consistencies of paint depending on what brand that you're going to purchase. And you purchase that brand so that you can get certain techniques that you want to achieve. Now, as you can see here, I have an orange here and I have all these other colors here. Okay, let me pull this little painting to the side here. These brands here, right here, are all of the Americana paint. And you know, because of, your label. Let's see, I want to go this way. Okay. And Americana has their product called Glazing Medium. And the glazing medium is an extender to some degree. But you do glazes, it helps your paint flow quite a bit. And you use it, here it is right here. It's not quite as thick as some of the other types of extenders or gels that you might get. But this one says that you mix it like a ratio of 1:1 with the water and 1:1 with the glazing medium. And then you go ahead and you work with your paints. So what I wanted to do was test it on a little painting. This painting here is in my beginner class section. And when I was working with Susan last week on starting her little project on the poppies, we were doing the different glazes and different things. And then we were starting on our poppies. And I realized that we were basically using this brand of paint up here, which is a heavier body paint. And you can tell because see how this goes into a pile here and it doesn't spread at all, to where this paint here, it will go in a pile, but it does have a little bit of spread to it. So this is not quite as thick as a heavy body paint. Well, for the technique that I do on a lot of things, I prefer a little looser type of paint. So that's why I have the Deco Art out here, because I want to show you the difference in the paints. Because if you're going to be doing any kind of overstrokes, any kind of stroke work, consistency is the key to getting those strokes to do what you want them to do. If you have a real heavy body paint and you try to paint on a dry canvas, you're going to have a lot of problems trying to get that to blend. But if you use something along with that, then it will be okay. But if you don't want to take the time to cream up all your paints with heavy body paints, then you can just use a different brand of paint like I have here. And everything will be fine. You just take it out of the bottle and you go ahead and paint with it. So I started this little painting with Susan. And what I want to show you is that I can go back now. See how light this is here on this edge? I can go ahead and take a little bit of the gel here. This is glazing medium. Dip in some of the glazing medium, and I'm just using a touch of water in the corner here. Come back and wet this I'm on a dry canvas here. Check to be sure it's damp, and it is. Set my brush aside. Now come back with my mop brush. Make sure your mop brush is dipped in water and blotted on a paper towel so that when you come back over here, you can fluff that all in and it'll be nice and damp but not runny with water. Now I'm going to come back in here with some dark color first. So I pick some up on my brush and I'm going to pounce it just to open up those bristles. And then where I had the glaze, I'm going to go right next to this petal, like that. I'm going to pounce out a little bit, so I can deepen and get a little depth in this. It's still wet, so I'll just wipe my brush on a paper towel. I will come into the medium green. And while this is still wet, you can pounce a little medium green on here. Not a whole lot of difference on there yet. And then come on in. You can wipe your brush off, or you can go right on into the lighter green. And then you can pounce some of the lighter green in. And if it's not light enough for you, just pounce into a little bit of those bristles. See how open they are? That's what you want. You want them open because you're creating some foliage type. Bushy. And then go into your blues for the last color here, because we're going to put some blue flowers in here. And on top of that, you can just pounce a little bit of this in, similar to what I used up here. Now once this has dried, let me show you how you can come in and float a little bit of color. I'm just washing the brush and I'm going to blot it on a paper towel. So let's say I want to deepen a color. Here's a little area down here. So what I would do, this is kind of like floating color right up next to your petals here. I will go into some of the dark green, pull out some paint. I haven't wet it with anything as far as my canvas, and I can go over here and just pick up a little gel, work it into paint, come over here, edge it with a little bit of the dark. See how I can go right back up in there around those petals. Wipe my brush off on a paper towel, come back and blend it out. You can go in circles. You can pull it. If it's not pulling with you, go into a little bit of gel. Put a little gel on the edge there so that it blends out. Okay, I'm going to move this around. I want a little bit of dark right here with this petal. See how I just go into it, pull it down, and then wipe the brush and just feather out this back end here. And if I need to, then I can go ahead and pounce some more dark. Let's see if I can get this stable here. And you can also work in some of the lighter color while you have it there. Let's see, there we go. So if your piece isn't dark enough, you can come back and add and do some more work on it. Now what I see over here, I see three little fingers over here. See, I had little fingers over here, so we're going to take care of that right now. Get rid of those 3 little fingers. And sometimes you see that, you don't realize you're doing it until you look in a monitor and your eye goes right to it. So you just pick up some other colors and go ahead and cover that to where you don't have those 3 little fingers there anymore. This is a great way to put in some foliage. So whenever I come back for Susan's class next week, we will work on deepening some of these areas back here if it came out too light. And this is the way that we will go ahead and do them. See here? Go right up next to that petal, and you can pounce some of this out. Just get rid of that hard edge there if you have one. And come back with some other colors. I love these mop brushes. They are so nice. You can just do all kinds of stuff with it, and I will have a link below for Paula's website, Paula McCoy. She has these mop brushes on her website. And you can buy them separately now. And I use this little 1/2-inch mop brush all the time when I'm teaching my classes. And I just love them. I use them for foliage with landscapes. And I also use them for whenever we're doing our classes. And foliage, I use them for overstroking the petals. So I use them for a lot of stuff in my foliage classes. I want to thank all of you for signing up for my beginner series. I have one opening left. I am booked for May. Everybody loves these, the puppies and the roses and the different classes that I have going. So I have one opening if somebody wants in there, but happens to be on a Sunday. Everything else is booked up. But I can fit you in if you want to come in. I start my classes at 11 in the morning Pacific time, and I can go till 8 o'clock. Classes are only an hour and a half long. But there's different openings for different times. Some of you work, some of you don't. And this way it works for everybody. I'm retired, so unless I have medical appointments or have to take my husband somewhere, I can get you in a class. Gonna lose hair there. Okay, everyone. There. That looks really nice. It's really deepened up this foliage part in here. And most of the time I will deepen right in these crevices where it goes furthest back on all of those petals there. And then that way you get your depth in your painting. It's not so flat. Now, when you look at the petals here, you'll notice that this petal is a little brighter than some of these other petals here. Some of these petals were done with a different paint brand. These two were done with the Deco art and done with the mop brush as an overstroke. This one right here was done using the Deco Art glazing medium. So it came out a little deeper in color if you want your petals to become deeper in color. But we can deepen these with a little glaze and a little bit of the purple here It's actually not a purple. I don't know what color you would call that. What color is that? That is purple pizzazz. And then you would just use your mop brush to blend up. But you learn all of that when you come in class. And I have a lot of options for everybody. If one thing doesn't work, we try a different way, or we might try a different paint, or we might try a different medium for you. And I stay in contact with my students. It's not like I have a class and just forget about you. If I come up with something a little different after doing your class and I think it might help you do your painting while you're finishing your petals or whatever we're doing, then I will go ahead and send you a photo, and I'll tell you what I did, and go ahead and try that and see if that might work a little better for you. Okay, so I hope this little video helps you so that you know the different consistencies of your paint. Okay, it's really, really important. When you do the style that I'm doing, your paint needs to be creamy like mayonnaise. And if you have paint and you put this paint on the palette and it just piles up like that, then you need to cream this paint up. You can either use a gel, you don't want to use water. Water would make it, water is what you use to clean your brushes with, so that would take pigment away from the paint. You would need a gel, some kind of a gel to mix with it, okay, depending on your brand of paint. I would also kind of stay with the gels that paint company recommends, because if you're using paints that have sealers in them, a lot of your multi-surface paints, they will dry a lot faster than a paint like your Deco Art here. This is not a multi-surface, but they do have a multi-surface paint. But your sealers do dry out your paint a lot faster. And if you're trying to do overstroking, you're trying to get your petals or your background or something like that to stay wet as you're working in it, it will dry out faster than if you use a paint that doesn't have a sealer in it. So, but you can use what you want. You just have to know how to get that paint to the consistency that you need on whatever style that you're painting on. And I discuss that in all of the classes for you. Okay, everybody. If anybody wants to come in my classes, like I say, we have our Poppy class. That would be the second class that you would learn. We have our little Mop Brush Rose class. Look what a cutie that is. And we also have our Peony class. Oops, there goes my deal. Look at how cute that peony is. Now in the Peony class, we do a different type of leaf. We do more of a decorative leaf. Some of you may know Priscilla Hauser. And we do more of a decorative leaf on this one here. This one is a 2-stroke leaf. And these little leaves on here are just a basic leaf. Just a 1-stroke basic leaf that we do. The flowers on here are flip-flop flowers. The petals on here are just a stroke, a stroke, a stroke, a stroke. So there's nothing that's really complicated on any of these paintings here that you're going to be learning in your beginner class. Just give me a message. Go through Messenger on Facebook and send me a message, and I'll let you know my schedule. Also, please be sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that lets you know you subscribe, and then you click the bell. You push the arrow down and then you click all, and that will let you know whenever I have a new video out that you can watch that might help you out on your painting. So thanks so much again, and until next time, take care and bye for now.